remember that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I've been feeling kind of funny. I'm flying, always on my mind. I've met a creature so divine. Got my head on my money. I'm fighting hard to get things right. Before you open, I can make some time. So come running backwards to your house, but I don't even know where you live. Promise me we're gonna do this. We're going all the way. I love things, brother, brother. But with you, I wanna dance all night long. We're gonna keep dancing, dancing in the streets of every cell. We don't care who's watching it all. The world's ending, we will not stop. I love things, brother, brother. But with you, I wanna dance all night long.
Hey, welcome back, friends. It's time for another session of acculturation, and we are down in Dumbo, one of the most picturesque old neighborhoods in Brooklyn, here called Vinegar Hill. All right, well, we're gonna run in here and have a little tour, guided tour by Carri Skoczek at the GAIA Gallery. And this is a show that you curated?
Yes, and I'm also in it.
You're also in it.
I am.
Skoczek, is that?
Skoczek.
Skoczek.
Yes.
Well, I actually think I've been to this gallery before, about 15 years ago, something like that, maybe. Okay, tell us a little bit about the show. Give us a little wandering guide.
Jackie Lima asked me if I'd curate a doll show, and I was like, of course, because I've collected dolls, I've made dolls since the 80s, and I know 80s.
And you are a doll.
Oh, you're sweet. But I knew all these women that made killer dolls or photographs. This is Mellissa Stern.
Yes, we know Mellissa.
Right. Alexandra Limper, who when I asked her, she told me, Carri, you own most of my dolls. I make new ones. Well, it's Melissa Ellis, Geraldine Shookwit. Yeah. Shookwit.
Geraldine Shookwit.
Shookwit.
Shookwit. Okay, I got a few questions I'm going to intersperse in here on the little tour. What do you think it is about dolls that makes them so fascinating for artists, and I guess particularly female artists? You got any insight into that?
I grew up with them and I always loved them. I mean, and they're creepy.
Right, that's the part I'm wondering about, the creepy part.
They're very creepy and they're very cool. I mean, I remember like Chatty Cathy. And then when Chatty Cathy couldn't talk, it was even creepier because it was like,
oh no,
bad noises are coming out. But then I had my mother's like little precious ceramic dolls. It's like, I don't know, they're creepy, they're beautiful, they're fun.
How about their place that they play in sort of the history of modern art? You know, there was the mannequins were very big for the surrealists, and I think for some other people, the dolls were part of that whole thing. You think there's some kind of Freudian subconscious kind of connection to the lot of that?
I have to think a lot harder about that to answer that question. I have no idea. Freudian.
Okay.
Not that I wanted a baby, you know. I don't have a baby. I didn't have a baby. I didn't play with dolls because I wanted a baby. I don't know. And then there's voodoo dolls, and that's a whole nother animal.
Should we go over and look at some of your work?
Sure.
Is that some over here?
It is.
We're talking about voodoo dolls.
But it's all good juju. They're all blessed, so it's all goodness is going to come out of it.
Tell us a little bit about this practice. I know you also do some painting, drawing.
Yeah. I mean,
printmaking as well. And
yeah. I've been making these for, like, I think since 20. These, particularly, I've been making dolls since the 80s. But these, I had like this little doll I bought in New Orleans that had all kinds of little beads and whatnot sewn on it. And then all of a sudden I had jewelry. I had old jewelry, and I thought, And I had these doll bases because I was making freak show dolls with like 3 legs and making dresses and 2 heads. And I thought, well, maybe what if I don't know, use the jewelry for something? And I just
Actually, I'm looking at this and I'm noticing that they actually do have kind of color schemes going on here. They have certain kind of palette things, like this one is sort of tipped into the turquoise and the red, the kind of light vermilion red. This one's going in more the fall colors with the oranges and the
Halloween
yellows and all that
Well,
stuff.
it is. I mean, it's like it's almost like making a painting because it's like I always start with the face and then the colors. You know, it's like you want rhythm and you want pattern and you want like. Whereas there was one, it's like I had to have like this. It needed like another beat of a different color, so it could, you know, it's. You know.
So it's kind of counterpoint in the color thing, and
and just balance, you know. It's gotta.
The other thing I was wondering is you must spend a lot of time shopping at flea markets.
No, graciously, I mean,
all
I've had
kinds
stuff
of
for years.
places
but
like that?
Graciously, people have send me shit. I mean, I have people where I'm from Milwaukee that have an antique place. She sent me the first time she sent me it was a 25-pound box of stuff, and some of it had silver in it, so I put that on my wrist. Like,
Okay,
It's, you know,
Do these pieces have titles?
no, they do not.
And I was reading one of your posts that somebody notified you and said, I hope you know what you're doing because you could be releasing the evil voodoo spirits or something like that if you don't know what you're doing.
That was a doll from a long time ago. And then I had gone to Botanica to get like a you know, what they call them, a washing or a cleansing thing.
Cleansing.
So they're all blessed. So it's all good juju. I mean, it's all
Blessed by who?
Blessed by the magic potion that you get at a Botanica.
Who guarantees that? Who's backing that stuff up? Who's the fiduciary protectorate behind the magic potion stuff? Do we know?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna trust in it.
Let's walk around a little bit more. I was thinking also Halloween is coming up in a couple of weeks, and so some of this is kind of spooky.
It was very Halloweeny and spooky, but it was not intentional. It just happened that way.
Who is this by?
This is Carri Grail. It's called Are You My Mother?
Gosh.
I did that one just to fill the space. I mean, I made it a long time ago.
Okay.
She's just, you know, she's kind of watching over everybody, making sure everything's all happy. This is Maria Levitsky's work.
Maria Levitsky's work. Now, some of this has kind of the character of a kind of folk arty too. You know, there's been a lot of things on Netflix where people are making corn husk dolls or chestnut dolls or something like that. It seems to be
dried apple dolls.
Yeah. I was also thinking that some of these kind of make me think of Kachina dolls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of the Navajo.
Yeah.
Whatever they are, special talismans or something.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sasha Silverstein.
So this is one of the few paintings.
There's more.
Okay. Then this is more of you here.
Yeah. Space fillers. Another Sasha Silverstein.
Sasha Silverstein. And these are oil on canvas board?
Yeah,
canvas
board, I believe.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go in and see the back gallery.
The pile.
Portia Munson?
Yep, the mom. Do you know her work?
I don't.
Oh my god. PPOW. She just had a killer show and she had a show up at Oh My. Her work is phenomenal. She's brilliant.
Well, you're talking about your Chatty Cathys and some of the other dolls. And
she stored these outside.
I was going to say they look like they've been dug up from the shallow graves.
Outside.
And again, this kind of gets to the creepiness or the kind of otherworldly things. Yeah, about dolls, but when you start to see a bunch of them together, And if their eyes started to flicker, that would be really,
there
really
were
creepy.
two little boys that came in here, 6 and 3, and like the little one came and he stepped back very slowly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in there.
He's a smart kid. Let's look at these paintings.
Rani Carson.
Rani Carson? Mm-hmm. Okay, and these are oil?
Yeah.
Also oil on canvas. Beautifully rendered.
I know, they are wonderful. This one is killer. They're so creepy. But they're beautiful. It's beautiful creepy.
This is another Rani piece, huh? Okay. Well, how about this large piece over here on the cardboard?
Tine Kindermann, who is
Tine
amazing.
Kindermann.
She's a brilliant painter, and she's been doing dolls for a really long time. And she had a residency out at Governor's Island. She was making giant doll heads, like the entire doll, like the head and the arm. You know, they're all about this big, and they were put together separately. But when she was working on this in the studio, I was gonna get a big thing, but I couldn't remember how tall the walls are. And she just started this, and I was like, finish that. I want to finish that. And it's just, it's gorgeous, and it is called. Judith and Co. are done with the patriarchy. I mean, Holophonies. I mean, it's after that.
Okay, that's one of these long poetic titles.
That you never pronounce.
Okay, let's look at this piece.
Sandra Greuel's piece.
This is the old
Always political.
Barbie doll, but
The permanently pregnant.
trending pregnant doll. Okay. Lives anywhere in the USA with a permanently pregnant mom doll. Can really help her deal with her pregnancy issues. And there are so many. Okay, and we got the little miniature starch marks, stretch marks, toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant.
Another Mellissa Stern.
Oh, Melissa's been busy.
Yeah. They're older pieces, I think. Mellissa Stern.
This is more Melissa.
Yeah, more Mellissa. And it's called Zoom School. I know, that's a brilliant piece.
Well, Melissa is married to one of my wife's oldest friends. You know, also I was going to mention that you had a gallery in Williamsburg that was open, 20 years ago, something like that, weren't you?
Oh, the Right Bank Gallery?
Yeah, the Right Bank Gallery.
I ran
yes,
the Right
yes.
Bank Gallery like 27 years ago for about
20.
Well, I know, 100 times flew.
Back when you were a little girl.
Not so little then.
Little
not
tiny
so, not so
girl.
young then either. Just older.
Okay, well, thanks, Carrie, for the tour here at the doll show at the Gallery GAIA Gallery. Where are they?
Gallery GAIA.
Gallery GAIA.
Thank
Here in Vinegar Hill. You know, I joke about Vinegar Hill because I live farther down the waterfront. I'm in Buttermilk Channel. So there's
called Red Hook?
well, I'm a little bit north of Red Hook. So I make the joke that so I'm in Buttermilk Channel and this is Vinegar Hill, and in between us is Ranch Dressing Point. So,
Where is that?
that's in Dumbo under the bridges. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
This is Ranch Dressing Point. Or down there. This Dumbo is Ranch Dressing Point.
It's a joke.
I know it's a joke. I wanna know
Yeah,
what
that's where the
area.
point is. Yeah, under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Right, where they take the photographs.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, Lauren.
Okay. It's James Kalm, please. Yes, okay.
Oh, sorry, James.
And it is a drizzly Thursday afternoon. We're going to slip into a gallery I haven't been to, Lomax, and try to get a view of an exhibition. Stay tuned. Excuse me. And we're going to take a look at an exhibition by the mistaken style of life. Well, I've never been to this gallery before, and, Tribeca is quite the, hotspot these days for new galleries. Well, we'll start here. This is titled Casual Association, 1994. Acrylic on canvas, 58 by 46. Well, it says in the press release that Auste is originally from Detroit, a child of Lithuanian immigrants, and gosh, I don't know, like somehow she might have gone down to Chicago and got involved in the punk music scene, but 1979 she ended up coming to New York and getting involved in the East Village art scene. This is titled From This No One Will Save Me, and it's all in acrylic on canvas. That's when I started to bump into the work. And I think in a certain way that Auste kind of captured a certain kind of grungy surrealism that was happening in the East Village at that time. It's titled The Fair Places of Heaven. This is 1983, so this is right at the high water point of the East Village. It's 40 by 66. Okay, it also says in the press release that Auste was doing a lot of performing and doing music things at places like 8BC and say the Palladium, the Pyramid Club. The Pyramid Club is still around, I guess. I was driving by there last week. Okay, this is the stuff I remember seeing. Biochemical vignette, temper and graphite on paper. So this is 51 by 71. I'll read a bit from the press release. Born in Detroit, the child of Lithuanian refugees, Auste's memories of her childhood fairy tales informed her work as a performer under the header Quintessential Club. Her variegated literary productions and her wildly expressive paintings and works on paper. Upon moving to New York from Chicago in 1979, Auste's images cascaded across the landscape of the city. Initially exhibiting with the Hamilton Gallery, she performed in spaces as varied as 8BC, Palladium, and Pyramid Club. She went on to show in numerous venues including Ronald Feldman Gallery, PS1, Artist Space, 56 Bleecker, and more recently with Mitchell Algis and Greenspun. Yeah, this kind of, it's a lot of the things I was talking about, the smudgy, kind of grungy thing was happening in the East Village. I always felt like a lot of the sensibility of the East Village came out of the fact that a lot of the buildings there had burned and or partially burned, and there were squatters that were living in there, and everything had kind of the smell of burnt lumber and mildew and a lot of strange sociological things going on there at the time. Punk, graffiti art, all that stuff. Fear Not in Pedro, 1982. It's acrylic on canvas, 36 by 60. Well, I think there was some interesting things about what Auste was doing, just from a stylistic thing. Okay, so they talk about her using elements of Lithuanian folk art, punk, no wave, European surrealism, while charting her history as a stalwart presence in the East Village and the downtown scenes. So I was thinking there was kind of a strange melding of kind of a Gothic surrealism and Father, Mother, Sister, Cousins, 1986, acrylic on canvas, 63 by 51. I think that there's also, these little, space age elements in the background. Kind of recall some of Kenny Scharf's and his Jetsons things. There was also, I think, in the early '80s, kind of an influx of Chicago artists. There were like second generation Harry Who people. And I think they were all kind of looked upon as a force that was going against the kind of slick formalism that had been developing in Soho for the last 15 or 20 years. And I think Auste and a whole lot of other East Village people were kind of challenging that. I like this piece. Tibia Bado, 2015. 40 by 30 inches. Okay, so this is long after Auste has left the East Village. Oh, and this is oil. We got a very rich surface there. I think Auste's got kind of a natural, exuberant palette. Kind of neon-y. Villanos. This is 1992 oil and canvas, 30 by 22 inches. I was going to say that little profile there makes me think of an Odon Redon painting. And I think when you see a piece like this, you can also see that there was a lot of potential for Auste to influence fashion, the image of the young, surrealist, edgy punk woman in the 80s. We've got some tables with her ephemera on there. It's titled The Seamstress. 1985, oil and acrylic on canvas, 27 by 23. I think Auste's got a real, also a sense for the materiality of the paint and the way she builds up her paint surfaces. By the Old University, 1985, acrylic on canvas. Well, this is interesting. It's like she started out with acrylic, and then as the older paintings were switching to oil, a lot of the people I see now are painting in oil for years, and then they're switching to acrylic later in life. It's 23 by 18. I think one of the other kind of symbols of that period was this whole idea of the female vampire, the kind of blood-sucking temptress. Student of manners. I would say this is probably about 18 by 22, something like that. I'm looking at some of this and thinking that these might have been in storage somewhere. They've got a nice kind of a patina of age. This is the title piece of the show. This is A Mistaken Style of Life. I wonder if this is a self-portrait. Okay, well, we'll look at some of the ephemera. I had a very odd childhood, recalls surrealist painter Auste. My parents had no desire to be in this country. They wished to be in Lithuania. Her parents were forced to flee to America from Soviet-occupied Lithuania after World War II. Her mother was a descendant of Tautus the Great, Grand Duke of Lithuania, and her uncle had been the Minister of Culture. Auste was born in Detroit and raised without television. Her imagination was fed with Lithuanian folklore and customs, and with sketch and costume rituals her mother prepared in the woods around her home. I was kept from American children. I didn't speak English for the longest time. Much of the eerie fairy tale imagery in Auste's paintings seems derived from these childhood ceremonies. Her work resembles hallucinatory visions rather than depictions of reality. Wispy female figures, evil witches, and lonely princesses with sharp teeth and swirling masses of hair floated, dance, and preen themselves in perspectiveless landscapes overgrown with poppies and orchids. James Kalm reporting on Auste, A Mistaken Style of Life, here at the Lomex Gallery. You can like this, share, subscribe, link it up at all your social media sites, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below. And as always, we just ask you to say, thank you, Kate. Yeah,
Thank you so much, guys. I have to say goodbye. My name is Pedro. It was a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Thanks, Pedro.
Hey, thank you.